Hey guys, this is Steven from Steven's Classic Garage. I wanted to do this video because I'm not going to have one for another week or 2 weeks, and I haven't made one in a while, so I wanted to go ahead and give you kind of an update slash a review on this particular cover. So in the comments I will put the exact length, because I can't exactly remember what the exact length is, but it's an OxGord car cover, and I wanted to review kind of the quality and what I think about it. I bought it recently when my tarp ripped, or my tarp kept getting eaten by the sun. And I was thinking in my mind, I was like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if I could find a tarp or something that I could use that won't die in the sun, that won't basically disintegrate in the sun, and something that has elastic on the sides that will wrap around a car. And then of course I thought, oh well, what I'm thinking about is a car cover. So I picked this guy up. I believe it was about $70. I will have the link in the description as well whenever I post this guy later tonight. And I purchased this guy. It's supposed to be a 7-layer, and that's another reason why I bought it, is that it's a 7-layer tarp. I mean a 7-layer car cover. Very heavy duty fabric, pretty heavy duty seams. And one of the biggest points on it is because of the interior is soft. So obviously right now that doesn't really matter because the car is not painted, but the idea was I was purchasing for the future, and in the future the car will be painted, and you definitely want a car cover for a car that's not painted. If you're going to use the car cover, you definitely want it to not scratch the car. And so I want to be very careful protecting that paint while it cures, and yet have some room for it and have it be able to cure. So I might, when I'm not driving it often and I want it to have some time to sit to cure, I'll put it under the car cover and let it cure for a weekend if I'm not driving over the weekend or whatever, until I could put the sealer on it to seal it from, or the seal on top of the clear coat, just to kind of seal everything in, and so it's no longer going to off gas, and also have it a little bit more protected. So I really like this car cover. It just fits the 65 Mustang perfectly. So if you're looking for one for the 65 Mustang, this is definitely the one to pick. Basically what I'm doing today is I'm taking off the trunk to prepare to test a few paint colors. So I'm going to take that off, sand it with 400, seal it, and then sand it with 600, and then prepare for paint. Probably pick up some paint next weekend, small amount, sample set of burgundy, and shoot it and see what I think about it. So as I was taking it off, I thought, hey, you know, might as well review this guy. So I'm going to review it for about another 8 minutes, and this is just kind of an initial review. I will review it later in about maybe a year or something, or when I start to see wear, do my review on it. But right now I don't see any problems with it, but I'll explain a few things. So the reason why I ended up getting this car cover is I actually researched it a lot on Car ID, and according to Car ID, this was one of the car covers that had full 5 stars and everything. Ding protection was one. Obviously it's not going to protect you too much from things hitting. I mean, it's not like padded or anything. Dust protection, sun protection, moisture, to allow moisture to lift out, because another problem is if you have a car painted and you have water stuck underneath there, the moisture will come up to the top and get stuck, and it will eventually eat away at your paint. So you want to be able to get that moisture out when it rains. Like in San Jose, it rained like crazy this morning, and it was almost flooding down through the street. And so when that moisture gets stuck underneath the car, and actually now you can see there's a little cover, there's a little foam bin in there. I actually have a cat that occasionally lives under the car now. So rain will get stuck underneath there, and it has to evaporate up, and when it evaporates up, this guy has to release it. So that brings up two things. Number one, the tarp has to be able to be breathable, but yet keep out the sun and try to not let the water in. So it has to let moisture out, but yet not let water in, liquid water in, liquid water needs to stay out, but gaseous water needs to be able to come through the cover. Needs to be able to permeate the cover. So on that front, this had 5 stars, but I found that it is okay, because if you pull this up, you'll notice that there are decent sized water spots that did get through the cover. So either there's a hole there, or because it's only a few spots, so either there's a hole there, or that's where all the rain was collecting and it allowed the rain to kind of seep through. As you see here, the rain is sitting on top, and if I pick it up and look underneath there, that's dry. And it's a little wet there. So it's a little wet there. It's not wet down there because it's not touching. So it does allow water to permeate through. It's not perfect, so the longer the rain sits there, the more it's going to permeate through. Also, the trunk lid was a little wet here, and so as you can see, it kind of messes with the sealer. And as you can see, I'm starting to take bolts off of the trunk. So other than that, I mean, it fits really, really well. It's a universal fit. It's not, as you know, it's not very expensive, so it's not fit for a 65 Mustang. But I think even if I had my whole front end, which I don't, I think it would fit really, really well. Especially with my bumper, I think it would fit even better. Now the elastic is really, really good. However, yes, one of the previous days I had it blow off on the backside. I don't know if that's just because I didn't put it back on very well, or what happened, but half of it blew off. But it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds, some crazy mile-an-hour winds. So other than that, I mean, there's ways of preventing that. You can see it's got a grommet there. Comes with a rope, and I believe it has a grommet on the back. Yeah, it's got a grommet right there on the back. So that's super preventable, because I never do it, but it did blow off. So that is something to consider, but that rarely happens. And it was also raining, so it was raining into my car basically. But I had all the panels on, and I had it semi-masked for paint, so back here I don't have a back window in it, so it did kind of go around it, so it didn't get too much water inside the car for as far as I know. And if it did, it'll actually be a long time for that to evaporate out, because then it has to evaporate out and evaporate through the cover, and there's no airflow going through the car, so that would also not be a good thing. So if you do have high wind situations, go ahead and use the grommets. Tie it from there to the other side, and tie it from the back to the front, or just use a bungee cord to the bottom side of your vehicle somewhere that's easily accessible. But so far, it's one of my favorite purchases for the car. I always tell my parents and my roommate that is one of the best purchases for the Mustang that I've got recently, which has been so helpful. It's lasted longer than any tarp that I bought for about the same amount of money, for about $50 to $60. So this one's about $70, I think. I'll have the link in the description how much I paid for it. I got it from Amazon. So for that, I'm really, really happy with this guy. I believe that if you pulled on it hard enough, you could cover the rims. I'm not too concerned about the rims. I'm concerned about it preserving my primer and not, degrading my primer, or letting a whole bunch of water in onto the primer, or letting water into the car and rotting out the pans, even though the pans are rust killed. And also the back is rust killed as well. So that is my thoughts on the OxGord. I'd really recommend it, and they have a lot of different sizes. I would go for this size for most cars, even like maybe my mom's car. So if she ever goes on trips like this, they're actually out of town. My parents are out of town with my brother, his niece, my niece, so his daughter and his girlfriend. So if they ever needed one for the Challenger, I'd probably recommend something about the same size will work on the Challenger as well. But they do have the dimensions on there. Just go ahead and look up the overall length of your car and compare that to the size of the car cover. If it's very, very close, just get that size. Just get that size car cover. Just get the one that's really close. It'll actually fit better. That's what I did on this one. because this size was actually very close to the overall length of the car. So I'll put a link in the description of which one I got for the 65 Mustang here for the right size and the right fit. But I'll continue using this guy probably even into the point where I have paint, and I'll let you know if how this guy works. I might, before I do that, if I have any paint left, I might take some of the paint, clear coat it, let it off gas a little bit, and then like rub this like sandpaper into it and see if it scratches the finish. And if it scratches the finish, I'll let you guys know. Obviously at this point I don't really care because it is primered. So that is my thoughts of the OxGord. I'm only have a few minutes left here. So I would definitely, one of the best purchases I've had, and if you have a 65 Mustang or something similar, I would definitely recommend it. Stay tuned for the full review later on in its life, and I'll let you know how it holds up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Please subscribe. Peace.